Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our morning coffee time live stream gathering for Monday, October the 5th. How's everybody this morning? Hope everyone had a good weekend. I can still feel my heart beating with the other monks gone. My morning now is a little bit more like sailing solo in the ocean. Running around, working the sails, checking the navigation stuff, steering the ship, cleaning the decks. And I've never actually sailed that much, or certainly never sailed alone, so I'll leave the analogy there before I embarrass myself on the internet. So how's everything looking and sounding this morning? Did a complete breakdown and cleanup and reorganization in my office, which doubles as our studio for the morning live stream. So it's always dangerous to change. There's a reason we fear change. It's dangerous, or at least it feels that way. So I had a very nice weekend. The monks got off early Saturday morning and safely were able to drive back to Baigiri on Saturday. And although I didn't have the most solitary of weekends, we had people coming on Saturday and Sunday, offering the meal, and afterwards sitting and chatting a bit, talking on Dhamma, as we do here at the Hermitage. Especially while the weather is nice. It was really delightful. I noticed though when the monks left, this kind of extra feeling of solitude arising in my mind. It's like this deep, still sound or presence that's with you when you're in physical solitude. And maybe especially so in a forested setting or in the wilderness, in a natural environment, without the sounds, movements, and reference and relationship to other humans. And having cultivated a taste for that over the years, there's a deliciousness to it. But still, it surprised me how quickly after they departed, which was a little bit before the morning meditation and chanting that actually I live stream on YouTube. So in some sense, I guess I wasn't mentally or in mind, wasn't completely alone. There were people also sort of tuning in and sitting and chanting along. But as soon as they left, I just felt that familiar feeling and sound of physical solitude arise. And on some level, it surprised me a little bit. Both Ajahn Cunda and Tanrukito, uh, very well-trained monks. And although we don't move through the day in total silence or noble silence, a fair amount of your day still, there's not lots of engagement or long conversations. And Ajahn Cunda was even on his own retreat schedule for the most part when he was here. Venerable Rakito would join me for the morning and evening meditations and the meal. But aside from that, we're all just taking care of our chores and taking care of our responsibilities and looking after our practice. So even living like that, 3 monks in a small hermitage like this, there's a fair measure of silence and solitude. But there really is some special and something unique about true physical solitude. And it's something the Buddha praises us to seek out as practitioners, and something to cultivate an appreciation and a taste for. Maybe it's one of the more refined taste sensations, if we want to think about it as a taste, because many people fear that and organize their life so that they don't have to feel that, or don't develop an appreciation and taste for the benefits of physical solitude, bodily solitude. And even though lots of people live alone and they have their own car and they drive alone, you see them all by themselves on the highway and the roads. And we have nice trail here. Lots of people I see walking down the trail, off on a walk on their own. Or riding their bikes alone. But oftentimes, even alone, the solitude isn't very complete or perfect. They have their little white earbuds in. They're still somehow engaged and in relationship and referencing other human beings. In speaking about solitude, while the Buddha praises bodily solitude and seclusion, he also teaches that there are higher forms of seclusion, and a seclusion of the mind, chitta viveka, mental seclusion. It's helped and supported by bodily seclusion, but it's a further intensification of seclusion. And the perfection of chitta viveka, which is something we come to in overcoming the hindrances, is a true seclusion found in our conscious experience of the mind. So we can take out our little white earbuds, or we can put down our book, or if we're home alone, turn off the TV or the computer. But if the hindrances are still present, and maybe more importantly, our minds are still talking to us and nattering on, the mental seclusion isn't full, isn't complete. And developing the capacity to develop that in a profound way, to truly overcome the hindrances and quiet all the self-talk, all the various forms of thinking and mental proliferation, to drink deeply of true mental solitude, is something it takes great practice to develop and to maintain and to have access to. And it's even a more sublime experience and taste. I think increasingly in our culture, in our society, people do spend a lot of time alone. But I would guess that not many people have had a profound experience or regularly are able to establish themselves in this seclusion of the mind. And secluded from what? Secluded from unskillful, negative, unhelpful, unwholesome mental conditions, be it some sort of thirst, some sort of craving, some sort of ill will or agitation or frustration, just a dull, foggy, unclear, lethargic mind. Not really sure what's going on, but the mind's still spinning and moving, wallowing in mental lethargy. Are the various shades of restlessness. It's so present in our conscious experience that we're used to it. Kind of like when you live in the city, there's so many different sounds. The kind of hum of the city. It's an amalgamation of car sounds and industrial sounds and bridge sounds and fans whirring. When you live there, you get used to it. And we're used to that crowded kind of mental experience, and don't have access to, or not much access to, um, what it feels like what it feels for that to cease in a profound way, and the deliciousness and the joy that can bring to the heart. It's like some annoying sound that you've kind of adapted to, and then all of a sudden it shuts off. Whether it's the fridge humming, or the leaf blower, or the neighborhood mower, But when it ceases, like there's this feeling of release and relief and kind of deliciousness to the silence that then permeates the mind. And then the ultimate in viveka is the seclusion that comes from defilements, transformative, the transformation and the seclusion from defilements that comes from having practiced and realized the Dhamma. That's the ultimate form of seclusion. But first, we need to do the work of cultivating a taste for and arranging our lives so that we learn to take time to experience bodily seclusion, this mental seclusion, before we can fully kind of cultivate the seclusion from dukkha, seclusion from the defilements in a true and durable way. So maybe I'll take a few questions before wrapping up today. Wearing many hats, I need to be out to actually receive the alms today, so I'll be strict about the time. I won't be able to, I see lots of highlights here, but I won't be able to address everyone's questions. Sometimes I'm being cheerful and positive, although I feel sad and tired inside. Is that good or bad to pretend something that you're not? Well, it's not good to pretend in terms of misrepresenting the truth. But if you think about what might be going on there that could be skillful, is we're putting forth effort and we're trying to be cheerful and positive, despite the fact that we feel sad inside. And we're not trying to and if that's what we're doing, and we're not trying to deceive people, I mean, we don't necessarily need to go around broadcasting the fact that we're feeling down, but we're not trying to deceive people, but we're making an effort to be cheerful and positive. Then this can align with the concept of right effort. Like we're recognizing that there's something unskillful going on in the mind. We're in the grip of a sad emotion, or maybe we're feeling exhaustion with a tinge of frustration. And the Buddha's encouragement is not to just acquiesce to states of suffering and unskillful, unprofitable states of mind. So it's good then to put forth effort to try to stimulate and nurture some sort of positive, skillful state of mind. And we can do that, so being cheerful, so we can do that in the way we move our body and trying to smile and lighten up a little bit and what it is that we direct our mind to, how we use our speech. If we're just thinking about moving through the day, and that can help dissipate that. So not deceiving and reflecting and putting forth right effort. Could you please explain what will happen during your sabbatical? Will a new abbot come to the Pacific Hermitage, and will you go to Thailand? So, well, what I intend to happen on my sabbatical is to practice the 3 forms of solitude. And deepen my skill in practicing bodily seclusion, mental seclusion, and working for the seclusion from the defilements. So that's what I'll be doing on my sabbatical. There'll be other senior monks coming here. Ajahn Cunda is coming up at the end of this month, and I'll train him to take over a lot of my responsibilities, and he'll be serving as the senior monk here at the Hermitage until early next summer. And then we're working on lining up some other senior monks from Abhayagiri to look after things from that point on. And the plan is not to go to Thailand. The plan for quite a while has been to finish a new abbot's kuti here. And we're working on it as we speak, at least the planning and permitting part of it. But it's not likely to be constructed until early next summer, or finished by early next summer. So my plan is to go spend 3 months at Abhayagiri Monastery, our parent monastery in Northern California. They have some facilities there and have offered to support me on retreat down there. So I'll spend 3 months of my sabbatical down with the community there, and then come back here to resume my sabbatical. And I won't be engaged with the lay community or have any responsibilities, because Ajahn Cunda will be here looking after the monastery with some other monks. So and I see another question: why did the other 2 monks leave? Will others come to keep you company? So yes, other monks are coming up in a couple weeks, or at least one, Ajahn Cunda, and then another a few weeks later. The other monks came up to spend the Vasa, or the summer retreat period. So, and they're returning back to Abhayagiri to resume their practice there. And Ajahn Cunda is going to be in a more solitary mode at Abhayagiri, which he's been looking forward to. He's had very little, in all the years he's been a monk, he's had very little long personal retreats. So he went back to Abhayagiri to do that there. Will Ajahn Chunda continue the morning coffee in my absence? I'm afraid not. We've talked about it, and it's not his cup of tea. And there's not a fixed date for starting my sabbatical. It was due to start after this Vasa period ended. So, um, but the way things worked out with Ajahn Cunda coming up here, it's probably not going to start in full until I get him trained to take over my responsibilities and then move more into retreat mode. Okay, friends, that's all I have time for this morning. So, bit of encouragement to cultivate the taste and appreciation, and a little bit of a reminder to seek out some kaya viveka, or bodily seclusion, as a sport to your spiritual life and practice. And I think what inspired me to talk about this morning in particular is thinking about it in a more profound and kind of like the perfection of kaya viveka, and just how important that can be to experience. Like, find some time to experience kind of being truly alone and learning to delight in that and use that as a support uh, for turning inwards and seeking the seclusion of the mind and the seclusion from defilements. So be well, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Bye for now.